कल्चरल इकोनॉमिक कॉन्क्लेव डे 2 का जो फर्स्ट सेशन था, फर्स्ट टेक्निकल सेशन था, वो बहुत ही इंटरैक्टिव और ज्वलंत था, गिविंग अस एन ओवरव्यू अबाउट वेरियस थॉट्स ऑफ how we need to educate ourselves, how we need to upgrade ourselves, and how exactly do we need to conduct ourselves. There was a discussion that this university, being one of the strongest of having some eminent personalities, right from our Prime Minister to Honorable Home Minister and so on, where people coming out of this university, we also have a lot of hopes out of you that here lies the future of the country. So when we talk about devotion, when we talk about spirituality, I have a quick question to ask you. Do we know the difference between devotion and spirituality? Everyone gets into a scenario where they say that I am very spiritual, I am very devotional, I am very ritualistic driven, I am very traditional. So when we look at the difference of devotion and spirituality, some sadhu at Varanasi once explained this to me. I'm just sharing that with you. So whatever happens outside us, Dev Puja, Murti Puja, visiting Dharmik Sthan, wearing Rudraksh or any of the malas or any of the Ratnas, which is outside you, is all about devotion. Where we go places, when we visit places, when we interact temples, interact with people at various temples and so on, whatever is outside you is devotion. Whatever you try and do for yourself, when you talk about pranayam, when you talk about meditation, when you talk about yoga, when you talk about chakra healing, when you talk about multiple of these things, what is done inside you is called spirituality largely. When we talk about, he gave me an example saying that when we go to a water pump in the city, there is a water pump, we put in air in there, we apply that pump and then the water level raises. When the water level raises, there is where you get water out of it. So when we look at topics like Kundalini, there is a lot of dhyan, there is a lot of meditation needs to be pumped in inside you so that your level of Kundalini goes up. Now why are we giving you these examples and why are we talking about these things? The cultural economy today talks about a larger impact which is extremely important for all of us to empower the economy and grow the economy. Today there is one large issue being faced across the country which talks about the aspect of governments driving various temples or the temples being controlled by governments across the country. Everyone has a different perspective, everyone is presenting their side and looking at solving the problem in its own capacity. One of the things which I personally feel, which is a missing link, which is important for us to understand, is that there is another issue in northern India, there is another issue in southern India, western and eastern India, as well as central India, when it comes to the aspect of temple management, temple control, and processes which are followed at the temples in each and every format. If you go down south and visit any temple, there is a dress code. When you go down south, you cannot get inside the Garbhagriha. You have to take darshan of the Devasthan or the Dev or the Mukhya Devata from a distance. When you go northwards, central India and beyond, there is a habit of going and touching the Murti, taking blessings by touching the Murti and so on. These rituals and processes are not initiated by us. These rituals and processes have been coming in for time together and formalities have been executed there over this period of time by the local processes which people have seen over a period of time. Similarly, when we talk about donations, transactions, and exchange of any kind of commercial value between us and the temples, do we think of this fact that if we all stop going to temples, unfortunately, fortunately that day should never come where we stop going to temples. Unfortunately, people do not think of the fact that if we don't go to the temples will not have the commercial interface, the economic interface, as well as the amount of footfalls for which we go there to gather blessings, guidance, as well as learn from the system. The temple economy boosts on all the donations and transactions, which is devised in 3 patterns. A temple seeks at growing its awareness. With the growth of awareness rises the footfalls at the temple, and with the rise in footfalls, there is great amount of commercial interface. When this money is collected at the temple economy, there are different management styles or patterns or governance which is driven, by which it is controlled. If there is a family driven or a family run temple, which once upon a time was a family run temple and now been managed by the government, the reason is largely money management, and maybe the worth or the worry of mismanagement of funds. So primarily why we are meeting here today is just to give you an overview and discuss in this panel that how exactly this issue of financial management, temple management, rituals and customs management, heritage, as well as documentation in these temples are very important. I put this last point in front of us where we are doing our best to help the temples promote. We may have heard of the ISKCON temple across. There is a huge amount of Bhagavad Gita being distributed by the ISKCON devotees, even if you want to buy it or they want to distribute it. They are doing the job of promoting their devotion, information about the dharma as well as the Rudi and Parampara through the distribution of the Bhagavad Gita. How many temples primarily work towards promoting their temple knowledge, promoting their temple information, and empowering you guys to share that how exactly these rituals are to be followed. So areas of these things, when commonly managed for the improvisation of these topics, is what we work on. And with this panel, with this cultural conclave, the idea is to make us all think, visualize and incorporate, because at the end of the day, here is the future and we expect a lot from you. Thank you.